What's going on, guys, and welcome to another Doctor Who video. Today I'm going to be ranking all of Series 10's episodes from worst to best. This is Peter Capaldi's third and final series as the 12th Doctor, and I think it's his best. Remember that this is my opinion, but I'd love to hear yours in the comments below. Anyway, let's get started. Number 12. The Lie of the Land. This is the third and final part of the mid-season Monk 3-parter. It starts off with a time jump from part 2 where the world has been taken over by the monks and people are basically being hypnotised into believing they have been here for much longer than they really have. For some reason Bill, Nardole and a few others know the truth, so they plan to find the Doctor. It turns out he's on a ship supposedly working with the monks, but he eventually reveals that he isn't. He does this by making Bill shoot him, proving she knows what's going on and can trust her. This was stupid because he did a fake regeneration here and it all just felt a bit silly and unnecessary. Missy tells them that Bill must die in order for the monks to leave, but he believes there's another way. He goes to the monks' base and tries to break the link but fails, so Bill sacrifices herself to fix everything. Well, it turns out that Bill's mum apparently saves this whole situation and the monks leave. I thought this was a pretty annoying episode and a fairly poor end to an already not great story. Number 11. The Pyramid at the End of the World. This is the second part of the Monk trilogy. The episode starts with a pyramid that has randomly appeared on the border of the Russian, Chinese and US armies. This ends up being the monks, and they have supposedly come to Earth to help stop a horrific disaster that they have foreseen. Meanwhile, in a biochemical lab, a deadly bacterium has filled the lab and will soon be released into the air. The monks say that someone of power must consent to them helping out, so one of the generals consents. He is killed, however, because he was acting out of fear, not love. The Doctor finds out that the disaster is happening at the lab, and him and Nardole go to try and prevent it from spreading. Nardole, however, faints in the TARDIS after being exposed to the bacteria. The Doctor realizes the only way to save Earth is to destroy the lab, but he gets trapped behind a door because of his blindness. Bill ends up consenting to the monks and gives the Doctor his blindness back, but now the monks are in power. Number 10. The Eaters of Light. The Doctor, Bill and Nardole land in 2nd century Scotland because they want to discuss the fate of the 9th Legion. Bill goes their own way and comes across the Legion soldiers who are hiding from a creature. The Doctor and Nardole come across a picked tribe who are the natives. This tribe is guarding a portal that holds the creature inside, but they let it out to fight against the Roman army. After managing to escape the creature, Bill and the Romans meet up with the Doctor, Nardole and the picked tribe, and they devise a plan to lead the creature back inside the portal. This plan, however, means that someone will have to go inside and keep the creature inside. The Pict and the Romans end up joining together and decide to all go into the portal, sacrificing themselves in order to keep the creature inside. This episode was just kind of boring in my opinion, and I was expecting more from the classic series writer Rona Munro. Number 9. Smile. This is the second story of the series, and to be honest, it was better than I was expecting. The Doctor and Bill land on one of Earth's first colonized planets and find these emoji robots. I was worried about what these robots would be like, but they weren't too bad actually. There were also small robots called Vardis, which were a pretty interesting concept where they can join together to make walls and other structures. The Doctor presumes the colonists haven't arrived yet, however he soon finds out that they've been killed by the robots. He realizes that he must destroy the city so that no one else comes up and gets killed, but they find out that most of the colonists have been cryogenically frozen and have now woken up. After finding out what the robots have done, they want to fight back, but the Doctor says that it's not the way. He instead reboots the robots, but the humans must agree to live with them if they want to stay on the planet. This story was okay, but the end was a little crappy and the colonists not that interesting or developed. Number 8. Empress of Mars. In this story, the Ice Warriors return once again. The TARDIS lands on Mars in 1881 after NASA found a message carved into the surface. Here, the Doctor and Bill come across soldiers from Victorian Britain, and they have with them an Ice Warrior called Friday. They rescued Friday from his crashed spaceship, and in return, he is serving them and letting them use his equipment to mine Mars. It's soon revealed that the Ice Empress is underground and a soldier accidentally wakes her up. After one of the soldiers shoots at the Empress, she declares war on them and starts awakening other buried Ice Warriors. Eventually, one of the soldiers tries to overthrow their leader, but he gets killed in the process. The Doctor also threatens to use the Ice Warriors' mining device to bury them all. The leader pledges himself to the Empress in return for the others' safety, but they manage to come to another agreement. This story was alright, but nothing amazing, however the Alpha Centauri cameo was nice. Number 7. Extremists. This is the first part of the Monk trilogy and it's by far the best. The story starts with the Pope asking the Doctor to read an ancient book called the Veritas. Everyone who's tried to read it in the past has committed suicide, so they want to know what it's about. The only problem with this is that he's still blind from the previous episode. They are brought to the Vatican to investigate, and while there, Bill and Nardole find some portals. One of them takes them to the Pentagon where a group of people are counting down until their deaths. They find out that these portals are all simulations after Nardole fades away. The Doctor soon finds the monks and realizes this is a test to see if they can conquer Earth. However, the simulation is too exact and his sonic sunglasses still work, so he sends a message to the real version of him and disappears. This episode was pretty decent, but the ending didn't make much sense to me, and the stuff with Missy felt like it was just thrown in. Number 6. The Pilot. This is the first episode of the series and it's decent. We are introduced to Bill and find out what the Doctor has been doing since the previous Christmas special. He's been lecturing at a university and Bill is one of the dinner ladies who enjoys listening to his lectures. We get a lot of information on Bill in this story and it's the prime purpose, but it's paced fairly well. The villain for this story is a puddle of water known as the Pilot. This puddle takes control of a girl called Heather and begins to chase Bill all across the universe. I like how the Doctor takes Bill to different times, places and planets to try and escape the Pilot, because it makes sense with the context of the story, but also does the job it was aiming at by showing new viewers what the show is about. Eventually, they realise that the Pilot will chase Bill all across the universe and the only way to stop it is for Bill to tell it to leave. This was a sad end for a relatively upbeat but also at times scary episode. Number 5. Knock Knock. This episode takes us back to modern day Earth where Bill has signed a lease with 5 students to live in a manor house. The Doctor helps Bill move in, but students soon start going missing. They find these cockroach-like creatures that meld into the wood in the house and soon discover that the landlord gets people to come into his house and uses them to keep his daughter alive. Towards the end of the episode, it's revealed that this actually isn't his daughter, but it's his mother, and she's been turned into this wooden creature. The landlord tries to make the creatures attack the Doctor and Bill, but Eliza, the mother, manages to control them. The episode ends with Eliza realizing herself and her son must be consumed by the creatures so that no one else is harmed. This restores all the students back and the house collapses. This episode was pretty enjoyable and was also fairly creepy at times. Number 4. Thin Ice. This episode is set in London 1814, where the River Thames is frozen over and a frost fair is taking place. While exploring the fair, a child steals the Doctor's sonic screwdriver and runs off with it. He ends up getting surrounded by little lights under the ice and is dragged under. The Doctor and Bill put on old-fashioned diving suits and purposely get taken by the lights and find a giant creature under the river. They find out that a rich man called Sutcliffe knows about the creature and is using its waste as a replacement for coal. He tries to get the Doctor and Bill eaten, but they manage to escape. However, Sutcliffe has rigged up a bomb to shatter the ice. The Doctor manages to take the bomb and attach it to the creature's chains, setting it free. This story isn't too complex or really that interesting, but there's something about it that I really like. The Doctor punching Sutcliffe is great, and just the humour throughout the episode is great too. Number 3. The Doctor Falls. This is the second part of the finale for the series and it's pretty good. Throughout the episode we see Bill trying to come to terms with the fact that she's now a Cyberman. The way this was shot by showing her as Bill and then in the next show as a Cyberman was really effective. She decides that if she can't be normal again then she doesn't want to live anymore, and that's a really sad scene. Meanwhile, the Doctor, Bill and Nardole are getting ready to defend a simulated village full of people from the Cybermen's attack. The Doctor tries to get Missy and the Master to help him, but they both refuse. I do however like how Missy kills the Master before dying herself and saying that the Doctor is right about what he says and does. It rounded off her character very well. The battle commences, but the Doctor isn't able to hold them all off, getting shot by a Cyberman. After Bill leaves with Heather and basically gets brought back to life, thanks Moffat, the Doctor refuses his regeneration and the end cliffhanger with the first Doctor is great. Number 2. Oxygen. The Doctor, Bill and Nardole land on a space station where the majority of the crew have been killed. It turns out that they've been killed by the suits that are supposed to keep them safe. These suits make you pay for oxygen in breaths, and when you run out, well, you run out of oxygen and die. The suits then come alive and chase people with the dead remains still inside them, creating a really creepy and interesting zombie. Bill's suit malfunctions, so the Doctor gives her his helmet, exposing him to the vacuum of space and causing him to go blind. I thought this was an awesome thing to do, and I liked it even more that they kept him blind for 2 more episodes after this. The Doctor, with help from Nardole, manages to reprogram the suits so that if they run out of oxygen they explode, making the suits realise it's too expensive to do that, so they give them more oxygen. This episode was a lot of fun and had some great long-lasting consequences. Number 1. World Enough and Time. This is the first part of the 2-part finale and it's amazing. It starts with the Doctor, Bill, Nardole and Missy landing on a spaceship and coming into contact with an alien. The alien panics and shoots Bill, supposedly killing her. She gets rushed down an elevator by some cloth mask people, but the Doctor, Nardole and Missy stay. Bill is revealed to still be alive, but she's now at the bottom of the ship, whereas the Doctor is at the top. Because this ship is right next to a black hole, one end moves faster than the other. Here she meets Razor and he takes care of her. I love the parts where Bill is watching the Doctor through the TV. It was just an interesting part and it showed how slow time moved up there. After a lot of very creepy moments of patients saying horrific things through computer voices, the Doctor finds Bill but she's been turned into a Cyberman. It's also revealed that Razor was the Master all along, which I completely saw coming but was still cool. This episode was absolutely amazing and also very creepy at times. Well, there we have it. That was my ranking for the series' 10 episodes. This is a pretty decent series and definitely my second favourite from Stephen Moffat's run. He started well and finished well, but in between was a little rough. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed, please go ahead, like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.